Yo, what's up boys? Welcome to my 10-12 mid lane solo queue tier list, running you through the best picks of this patch. The biggest change to the meta occurred actually not from a champion change, but from summoner spells. Ghost got a huge buff actually in my opinion. So Ghost, usually it would take several seconds for it to ramp up the movement speed, and once it was over, it's over. But now Ghost is going to be giving you instant movement speed, and if you get a takedown, so a kill or an assist, you'll be getting an additional 4 seconds of Ghost to keep going. So think of things like just hypothetically Darius. Darius gets a kill, he gets an extra 4 seconds of movement speed. So I definitely think this is going to be really good on things like Victor, Cassiopeia, Syndra, Twisted Fate. There's going to be a lot of Ghost users in the mid lane popping up that weren't using it before. So gonna shift the meta a little bit, obviously not too much. You can't really do, sometimes you're gonna have to go cleanse, teleport, ignite. You can't force Ghost every game. You're gonna lead yourself into pretty bad scenarios if you do that. So jumping into my god tiers, guys, we have Diana, pretty much the staple of mid lane at the moment. She's been up there for a while now. The Conqueror, the straightforward setup and build. You can run her and ignite with as an assassin. You can go teleport with the Nash's Tooth, drop into the side lane. You can team fight. There's a lot of options for Diana. She has that W shield to make her really safe in lane. Pretty much instant Conqueror proc with the W. Diana's a pretty brain dead champion. She's super strong at the moment. In EU West, high elo, it's picked almost every game. I don't really see her picked too much in Korea. There's a couple of players abusing her, but not too many. But I definitely think Diana's a really good champ. Galio at the moment, probably one of the biggest, the most underrated champion in the mid lane at the moment. I don't know why people aren't spamming Galio more. Pro players are starting to pick him up more and more and more. We'll definitely see Galio as LCS and LEC occurs this weekend. A lot of teams will be trying to run him as a counter mage. It works extremely well with champions like Camille and Jarvan, where they set up, you ult over and engage. Nocturne mid. Nocturne's doing so well at the moment. Please, guys, please. Nocturne mid is good. Trust me, Nocturne mid is good. I've got a couple of guides on how to play him. Pick it up. Simple. Super simple to play. Echo mid, brain dead. Really, really good mid to late game when you're starting to hit those 2-item, 3-item power spikes, take over the game, drop into the side lane, yada, yada, yada. Orianna, the best control mage in my opinion this patch. Orianna's going to be doing so well. You got a lot of options now, especially with Ghost. I think she's a lot stronger. You got to be careful when playing her into things like the Syndra, or even things into like Fizz and Hard Engage. Orianna struggles a little bit, but overall, she's a very safe pick. You can blind pick her. Even if you get counter picked, it's not going to be that hard to deal with, and you'll be able to come out of the laning phase usually even or ahead. Twisted Fate, super strong Twisted Fate is. He's been getting so many buffs. There's so many options for him now. The Ghost is available. The big buff to TF with Ghost. Predator even I've been trying with boot start on TF. So Predator got changed this patch as well, guys. You can go Predator level 1. So if you boot start, which Twisted Fate used to do, you can actually proc your Predator level 1, looking for invades, looking for little spicy plays. I think there's definitely potential there for Predator Ghost TF, just movement speed all over the map. Fizz, up in my god tiers this patch. Last patch he was A. I've put him S tier. I think he's going to be doing very well into these mages that we're going to be seeing more and more played, like Victor, Syndra, Orianna, Cassiopeia. I think Fizz does exceptionally well as a counter mage. Jumping in, I think I did a review on Mango Fish not too long ago, last week. So if you're looking to pick up Fizz, I definitely recommend watching the video. Cassiopeia got a nerf this patch. They tried to nerf Cassiopeia bot lane by reducing her armor. But by reducing her armor, they actually gave her a buff to her magic resist. And if my maths is correct, Cassiopeia is now better suited into mages. I think she got a 4 base magic resist buff at level 1. So into counter picks like the Orianna and the Syndra, Cassiopeia is doing better. So it's actually slightly a buff. And with the Ghost changes, you can usually run Conqueror now with Ghost. Because before, when you ran Cassiopeia, Phase Rush was usually the better option at the moment because you don't really have much mobility when you go Conqueror. Because you can't, Ghost before was pretty bad, but now, Conqueror with Presence of Mind, with Ghost, you get an execute, you get Presence of Mind mana back, you get Ghost extended movement speed, and you just run through team fights. Cassiopeia pretty underrated at the moment, doing very well. Be careful when picking her into things like Syndra and Orianna that outrange you, you'll usually have a bad time. So we're going to move down to the A tiers now. Malzahar. Predator Malzahar. With Ghost. Jesus Christ, guys. Malzahar, super underrated at the moment. Huge buff. I think Predator Malz is insane good, man. You're getting engages every like 45 seconds. Try and get your CDR to 40%. If you're low elo, if you're below platinum, Malzahar or the one across in any hard engage, get cooldown reduction, these champions, you can't go wrong. I'm testing out Predator this week, trying to make sure if Predator, I think Predator is really underrated at the moment. The buff or the change they did to him this week might be helping out these hard engage type champions. Moving across, Lissandra, super underrated once again. Not many people playing Lissandra. She is perfect at the moment. She received a couple of buffs several patches ago, and she's just doing so well into things like the Echo, like the Fizz, run into things like the Cassidin, the Talon, anything that you want to lock up. Lissandra is so good. You can go Aftershock, guys. You can go Electrocute, feeling a bit spicy. A lot of options for Lissandra players. Don't be afraid to play a boring champion like Lissandra or Galio to get yourself out of silver or bronze. These champions do very well. They take little effort to get good. 5-10 games, you know how to play the champ. It's not that hard. Moving down, Syndra. Syndra's doing pretty well. Her win rate's dropping very fast because the pick rate is increasing. A lot of people are trying to play Syndra at the moment because she's everyone believes she's very strong, but they did do a slight nerf to her a couple patches back where they took 2 seconds off her E, which I think hurt her a lot. She has, she's very vulnerable into a lot of these god tier picks and a lot of these meta picks. You can blind pick her and like she's going to be relatively safe, but the mid game is really hard for inexperienced players. You're going to get picked out a lot. The Ghost, I think, will definitely help you get a little bit more mobility in team fights to outmaneuver people to get in a better position. But still, I think be careful when picking Syndra, but she's obviously still a very strong mage. Right now, Syndra, Cassio, and Victor are probably the best mages along with Zoe. These are probably the picks you'll be seeing in LEC and LCS coming up. And Orianna, of course. Victor, I just think Victor's so good at the moment. Small, slight buff to Victor's damage this patch. Slight buff. The Ghost change, I think, was the biggest buff for him. Ghost on Victor is really good. It just allows you to run down people and demolish them. You're getting those resets. You're getting that movement speed. You're slowing them when you get that upgraded Hex Core. I've been running a lot of Victor with huge success and high elo at the moment. So I think that Victor's pretty underrated at the moment. You can run him into things like Cassiopeia, like Orianna, and it doesn't do too badly, actually. So I think Victor might be starting to get looked at by pro players in high elo. In lower elos, guys, Victor, you're going to have a bad time if you don't know how to verse things like Fizz, Echo, Cassidin. These hard engaged champions fuck Victor up, so just be very careful and mindful of that. You need to get probably your Hourglass or your Banshees to start countering these champions, and then you can start playing a little bit more aggressive. What else do we want to touch on in my A tiers? Kiana, Talon, beautiful. Assassin, Roamers, Rumble mid, really good blind pick. A lot of options for you there. Maybe the Predator Rumble doing better now. Haven't really tested it. We'll see. And that's pretty much it for my A tiers. Katarina's still up there. She got a slight nerf a while back. If they pick Katarina, pick something like Lissandra, guys. You force the Katarina into having Cleanse. If she doesn't run Cleanse, she's fucked. If she runs Cleanse, she has a lot less kill pressure. Run something with hard CC into Katarina. Wait for the ultimate to come out. Boom, cancel it. Lock her down. If you run something that has no CC, or little to no CC, things like, honestly, things like the Orianna, the Cassio, like you have CC or the Syndra, but you really don't. It's kind of hard because she has so many dashes. You don't want skill shot CC, you want lockdown CC. Any Malzahar, Galio will do perfect into Katarina players. Moving down now to my B tiers, we have things like Corki and Heimer. Look, Corki, it's pretty good. He's okay. In solo queue, it's kind of hard to get going. Once you get going, you've got no problems, but at the end of the day, it's pretty slow paced. You can't really join early skirmishes, so be careful when picking him. That's the same thing goes for things like Azir. You need access to blue buffs, or you need a little bit of time to get 2 items on Azir before you can start playing aggressive. In pro play, Azir's so good because he can permanently shove the lanes. And in pro play, it's a little bit safer to do that because you're communicating with your team. the whole time and you know where everybody is most of the time. In solo queue, if you're perma shoving on Azir, you're just asking to be ganked. If they gank you, you use all your mana to escape. So while Azir is decent, I think that unless you're really an expert at the champ, probably don't really lean towards him. If you're looking for a control mage, try Orianna or Cassio, Victor or Syndra, in my opinion. We have Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath mid, really fucking strong. Go Glacial. Go Spooky Ghost GLP, just start one-shotting people. It's really strong. There's a couple of high elo Korean players that play this champion and it does wonders in the mid lane to immobile champions. If they pick something like Victor, you can pick Cho'Gath, man. You throw your GLP into your Q. If he doesn't have flash, he's dead. Straight dead. Silence him, ult him, eat him. Easy as hell. Talia, unfortunately, is not performing very well at the moment. She struggles into almost all of the meta picks. I think Talia bot lane is the best place for Talia. I think Talia mid is kind of cheesy, but it's just so hard to play into these meta picks. Katarina, Fizz, Orianna, like just Echo, like Diana, Nocturne. It's just very hard to play Talia mid at the moment. What else is really performing? Lucian mid, look, not sure really what's happening with Lucian. I thought he'd be doing pretty good after the buff, but apparently he's been bugged for a while. I don't know what's going on with Lucian. I don't think he's still decent, but if you can't really propel yourself in the early game and snowball the lane, it's always kind of hard to close the game out in the mid game, and then you end up kind of falling behind in the mid late unless you're really mechanical and know how to play the champion. So Lucian at the moment, look, I wouldn't really recommend him. Only times I'd recommend him is into things like the Cassidon or the Galio. You can bully these laners out. That's about it, to be honest, for my B tiers. Moving into the not optimal tiers, I said last patch the Lux buffs weren't going to be enough, and it was true. Lux is still Lux. The champion pretty much sucks. It has no mobility. The wave clear is a little bit awkward. The Ziggs as well, not really performing that well in the mid lane. Better in the bot lane. Anivia, I think there's so many better control mages out there. Akali got a bit of a buff this patch. I think Akali's actually not bad. She's C tier because she's so hard to play. But I definitely think there's room to outplay and maneuver on Akali to make her into A tier at least, if you're very, very strong. The same goes, honestly, for Yasuo or Aurelia. I don't know if we'll see any Akali in pro play. I think it's too inconsistent at the moment. She might need another small buff, but you gotta be careful with Akali, because once you can't punish the champion in lane, her mid game at the moment has so much damage in the all-ins after they buffed the champions like ratios and stuff. It's pretty potent, so you gotta be a little bit careful of this champ. But overall, I think still C tier in average, unless you're one trick in the champ. Probably don't try it. That's about it, honestly. Zilean, I think Zilean's okay. I think he's better suited as a support. Kled mid's decent. Kled and Camille, pretty good bruiser mids. But at the end of the day, Camille, Kled, Ornn, I think they're better top lane champions. Even Mordekaiser, even Set. I think they're just better top lane champions. They don't really belong in the mid lane. A lot of these mages will just bully you out. You'll have a bad time. So that's about it for my tier list, guys. A lot has changed, but also not that much. So that's about it from me. There was going to be massive mid lane changes with the mid lane minions. They're going to come later. There's going to be less cannons, I believe. So they were going to try and nerf essentially mid lane, so you can't roam as often, and it'd be more awkward on the timings. But they decided they're going to push that to preseason. So we're chilling, guys. Mid laners, we don't need to stress. We've got a full season to go, get our goals in. So good luck in your climbing, guys, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.